Channel 2 at 10 on CW11.
Tonight, President Trump's historic visit to Utica, his speech, the rallies, the protesters, the security, and tonight, the reaction. Good evening at 10 o'clock. I'm Don Shipman. Life in Utica is back to normal now, but for a few hours this evening, it was gridlock on the streets as police cleared a path for President Donald Trump to travel from Rome to Utica for a fundraiser for Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. News Channel 2's Jolene Ferris caught up with the Congresswoman after the event about some of the memorable moments inside that private closed fundraiser.
A helicopter hovered low overhead. Police put up barricades and blocked off streets themselves. A path was cleared for the President of the United States to travel by motorcade from Griffith International Airport in Rome to the DoubleTree by Hilton in Utica for a fundraiser for 22nd District Congresswoman Claudia Tenney.
It was just a wonderful moment when he came on the tarmac and I realized, oh my God, he's in Oneida County. Here he is in our home county, the place I grew up. I live across the street from the house I grew up in. And here's the President of the United States. I just wish my parents were alive to see this.
The President was never in view outside the hotel, but inside, Tenney says the Commander-in-Chief hit a home run.
No, it was terrific. I mean, the President was just so engaging and just, went to each person and wanted to know what they did and what their business was and how we can help and what we need to do.
Several local business people paid $15,000 for a roundtable discussion with the President.
Steve Kowalski was sitting next to me from Empire Recycling talking about tariffs and aluminum and the waste industry. Everybody had something to add to the President's discussion, and he was very engaging. He had very good questions, very probing with each person.
The President talked about an area where Central New York has taken a hit over the past several decades.
Manufacturing jobs growing at the fastest rate in more than 3 decades. We've created more than 400,000 manufacturing jobs since my election.
On a more personal note, the Congresswoman says the President was feeling the love on the ride from Rome to Utica.
I think he was really impressed when we arrived at the hotel. He said, wow, there were a lot of people out on the trail. There were a lot of people out cheering us on. And so I think he was really pleased with that. And he said, I did well here, right? And I said, you did really well here. So he was happy about that.
He did very well here. So Tenney estimates that there were more than 300 people at the fundraiser itself inside the DoubleTree, including many Democrats. She doesn't yet know how much money was raised for her campaign. Well, now to the protesters packing several streets in Utica because of the presidential visit. And News Channel 2's Rachel Murphy spent some time in downtown Utica speaking with people who are against the current administration and the changes that they want to see happen in our country. She reports now from the State Office building.
Roughly 1,000 people are here to protest President Donald Trump and Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. And I'm joined by one of the organizers. Tell me, what are you feeling right now seeing all this support?
There's a lot of solidarity here. The energy is amazing. There's a lot of people here getting off the couch, stop yelling at the TV, and are here on the sidewalk. We're peacefully, law-abiding, non-violently protesting, and everybody here feels that the Trump agenda hurts Central New York families.
Women are essentially just wombs, and I feel like that's what Trump and Tenney are aiming towards.
How so, as far as what policies are you talking about specifically?
They have really poor health care policies. They're both pro-life, which I define as, forced birth.
I'm a transgender individual. I came out after I got out of the military, but I was in the military, and it really means a lot to a lot of trans people to be able to serve.
My children are here, and as a mother, it's really difficult to raise young boys with a great role model of a president under President Trump. It's a constant battle to explain away his poor behavior and his immoral actions. And we prefer to have a president who we can be proud of.
And why are you against President Trump?
Because he doesn't like the refugees. And America is peace, united, freedom for everyone.
One protester took his message a step further by dressing up like President Trump as a giant baby.
Both Tenney and Trump, I don't believe, really represent the people. Claudia, she doesn't really represent her constituents. She doesn't even listen. I know so many people that have gone to her office and tried to talk to her. and she doesn't listen. And she won't have a town hall. I mean, I went to her one pseudo town hall, and I just think that's deplorable.
What message do you hope that all of these people are sending?
Just that Claudia Tenney does not have an easy road to re-election. All of these people here are going to be voting, and they're going to be talking to their friends and family about voting and how important it is to vote. We have the power to shift the way things are. If we're not happy, we need to get involved and go for it.
All right, thank you so much. Reporting in Utica, Rachel Murphy, News Channel 2.
And again, just about 1,700, we did do a count, just about 1,700 people in that protest right there. And there were also plenty of people who showed up to show their support for the president. And News Channel 2's Gary Libator continues our team coverage tonight.
Well, a lot of flags, a lot of signs, and a lot of horns going around here on the busy corner in downtown Utica. It's something that we've never really experienced before here, as President Trump has definitely made an impact, whether you're for him or against. At times, there was quite a back and forth between the two sides, but many Trump supporters here tried to just focus on why they were here. They wanted to try and get a glimpse of the President of the United States.
It's exciting, you know, it's exciting that the President of the United States coming to the city of Utica. What could be more exciting than that? You have people exercising their rights under the First Amendment, both sides.
It's kind of a circus. I mean, it's really great. It's historic because, I mean, I'm not that old, but I can't really remember any other time that a president has been here in Utica. So if you hate him or you love him, I think it's really great. And I'm just happy to be here, honestly.
Many of these pro-Trumpers did take offense to some of what was on some of the signs across the street.
It's disgusting what's going on across the street down the way. It's just so full of hate. It's not right. It's disgusting. And Trump is really trying, he's a good leader and he's really trying to help everybody, you know?
There were plenty of retired military among this crowd. One local Army veteran blames the viciousness in the country on what he calls the Trump haters.
They don't want to compromise. They don't want to work together as a team. I mean, it really frustrates me when people don't want to work together and compromise. There's, you know, everyone has a good point, and people should work together, especially for our country.
Finally, one very patriotic young man from New Hartford actually made the rounds on both sides of Genesee Street. Boy, you can't get enough comments on that outfit.
Everybody's walking up to me saying how nice it is. I just support America, that's all. I don't like to take sides. Some people think I'm a Trump supporter, but I just support America.
Well, you're a rarity out here. You are the one or the other, it seems.
Exactly. I think we should just try to agree on stuff and have a good time down here.
There you have it. These folks have heard that the president might actually make another appearance here in October. And this one in October may be even louder. We'll have to see. In Utica, Gary Libator, News Channel 2.
And we'll be there to cover both sides if it does happen. And Assemblyman Anthony Brindisi also held a fundraiser this evening. A little more than 500 of his supporters making their way to Chesterfields on the East End to show their support. And News Channel 2's Cody Mooney was there and reports.
Out here in East Utica, it's a little bit different feel than a couple blocks behind me. It's a little more calm, and over 500 people are here for the man of the hour right next to me, Assemblyman Anthony Brindisi. And Anthony, let me ask you, what led you to have a fundraiser the same night while President Trump was in town?
Well, look, whenever a president visits an area, I think it's a good thing. I'm just a little unfortunate that people have to pay $15,000 to see him. We're a campaign that's driven by small dollar donations. $10 got folks in the door here, and that's really the difference between my opponent and I. Someone who's funded by very big corporate special interests and someone who's relying on the people to fund their campaign, and that's what's going to get us over the edge in November.
And a lot has been unfolding here just within today with the president coming to town. What's your take on him in Utica tonight?
Well, like I said, I think it's always good when the president visits. I think it should be here for free. People shouldn't have to pay to see their president. But we're here tonight to really highlight the differences between our opponent's campaign and our campaign. And we're so happy that we're having a campaign that's built by the people. $10 gets you in here. I can talk to you, we can take pictures together, good food, good drinks, and a lot of good people. So
beautiful. And the hard-earned fundraising money, where is it all going to?
Well, this is all going towards grassroots support. So we need help knocking on doors. We need help making phone calls. We got to get commercials out there. Our opponent is outspending us right now on TV with her super PAC, and we got to stay competitive to get our message out there. This is going to help do that.
Well, I definitely think you have some people behind you who are in for it. And for these people, if elected in the next 3 months, what can you promise them?
Well, we can promise that they're going to have a representative who's independent, who works with Democrats and Republicans, someone who listens to the people and works on health care, protecting Social Security and Medicare, lowering the cost of prescription drugs. That's what we need in Washington right now, not more corporate special interest groups that are funding my opponent's campaign.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thanks, Cody.
Well, as you guys hear, he has his work cut out for him. Over 500 people are here to join him tonight. For now, we're going to send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, so now to Governor Andrew Cuomo releasing a statement today concerning the president's visit to Utica, and he's saying, and I'm quoting here, while in Utica, I urge you to meet with the immigrants and the refugees who are breathing new life into the city, which has a higher proportion of immigrants than any other city in upstate New York. He went on to say, and I'm quoting here as well, that you say you want to make this country great again, but you have certainly forgotten what made this country great in the first place. Perhaps you can use this trip to New York to help you remember what is truly making this state and this nation great. Again, that coming from the governor of this state. Back here tonight, continuing coverage on the president's visit to Utica, and the president flew in to Griffith International Airport to get to the city of Utica. There, security was especially tight. News Channel 2's Callahan Marshall has more details, talking with security in Rome.
Don, President Trump landed here just a few hours ago, and I spoke to a few law enforcement officials who tell me everything went smoothly, but a lot of planning went into it. According to Oneida County Sheriff Rob Mashel, they knew about this visit for a while.
The planning obviously started weeks ago. Once we got information, there's a series of meetings that take place. Obviously, we are here to assist the Secret Service. When I say we, in this case, it's the Sheriff's Office.
You can add Utica Police and State Police to that list. The Sheriff's Office alone had about 60 personnel strictly for this assignment. I asked the Sheriff about security for Trump compared to Obama when he visited, and he said,
there was a lot more detail here, only because he was going into the city and stopping in the city, where President Obama left here and went to the Baseball Hall of Fame and didn't use a motorcade, was actually in the air with a helicopter from here to the Baseball Hall of Fame. But this was a little bit different, involved a lot more boots on the ground when it came to the motorcade route.
All eyes may have been on President Trump, but the Sheriff's Office didn't forget about their daily duties.
We still had our regular patrols out patrolling all our patrol zones within the county, because the 911 calls are still coming in. The car accidents still have to be investigated. The burglary complaints or the barking dogs or the shoplifters, all that is still happening.
The president may be gone, but their job isn't done.
Over the next few days, we'll have some get-togethers to review what we did. Could we do something that will make it better if there is a next time for a president to come here?
The president made his way back here around 6:30 and then was on Air Force One and up in the air by 7 o'clock. Reporting at Griffith International Airport, I'm Callahan Marshall, News Channel 2.